Hello, my name is Theresa Moore, and I'm a nursing student enrolled in the RN to BSN program at the University of North Carolina at Wilmington. I am currently a psychiatric registered nurse working in Eastern North Carolina, and I am making this video to discuss the North Carolina Senate Bill 175 or House Bill 243, which is called the Strengthened Opioid Misuse Prevention Act of 2017. It is also known as the STOP Act. My group, which is the Orange Group, we are taking part in a collegiate debate regarding the STOP Act. So at this point, the STOP Act has gone through quite a few steps. On March 2nd of 2017, it was filed in the House and passed the first reading on March 6th of 2017. It was then referred to the Committee on Health, and then was sent to the Committee on Appropriations on March 30th of 2017. On April 6th of 2017, it was amended. Actually, it was placed on the calendar for April 10th of 2017. And then amendments 1 and 2 were adopted on April 10th. An amendment failed on April 10th as well, the third amendment. But it did pass the second reading and the third reading and was sent to the Senate on April 11th of 2017. It passed the first reading on April 11th of 2017 and was referred to the Committee on Rules and Operations of the Senate. On June 1st, it was withdrawn from the committee and was referred to healthcare, and it was then sent to the Committee on Rules and Operations of the Senate on June 15th of 2017, and the Amendment 1 was adopted on June 21st of 2017, and it passed the second reading on June 21st, and the third reading as well on June 21st. And it was added to the calendar on June 26th of 2017 and did pass on June 2017 and was ratified on June 28th. And it was signed into law by the governor on June 29th of 2017. So the best argument for this particular act is that it will help to reduce the number of opioid overdoses that are rising in select cities across the state, including Wilmington. The best argument against the bill is that the controlled substances reporting fee that will be required will basically require licensing boards to charge individuals with authority to prescribe an opioid an annual fee. So in my opinion, I believe that this is going to affect nurse practitioners more than it will physicians and doctor of osteopathic providers because they make less money. And I do not believe that the controlled substances reporting system, which at this particular point is considered outdated and does require quite a bit of updating and will require funding. Substantial funding. I don't believe that the contributions should come directly from the providers who are responsible for prescribing medications to their patients and reporting the opioid use appropriately using this particular reporting system. So I do support the bill because I believe that it allows law enforcement and other first responders to administer naloxone in the event that a person has an overdose on opioids, but it also allows for standing orders. And according to an article by Corey Davis, which was published in the Journal of the American Pharmacists Association, 28,000 Americans died due to opioid overdose in 2014. So these are just startling numbers, and Davis found that there were few liabilities to allowing naloxone to be administered via standing orders or by facility protocols. So it just seems that this would be a great thing to help bring down the overdoses. Well, actually, the deaths that result from overdoses on opioids by being able to provide treatment as soon as possible. Section 10, line E of the bill details guidelines surrounding civil penalties for pharmacies that fail to report missing information once notified. So if the pharmacy fails to correct an error, then they can be fined up to $100 for the first infraction, $250 for the second infraction, and then $500 for all subsequent transactions not to exceed $5,000 per calendar year. So these type of civil penalties will encourage pharmacies to recognize that it is incredibly important to keep track of the controlled substances and how they're being dispensed. So in 2013, CVS was actually required to pay $11 million to the United States due to opioid reporting violations in 2013. So with stronger opioid oversight, that research has shown that there are less issues with opioid overdose and overdose rates and also abuse. So hopefully with the passing of SB 175, North Carolina will see a decrease in opioid overdose and abuse. So I support utilizing the punitive measures in place by the bill as positive reinforcement of the goal of this bill, which is to strengthen opioid misuse and to encourage prevention. Also, I support this bill because it requires select criteria to be met for providers presenting opioids beyond a 60-day time frame. The provider must create a pain management agreement that includes patient demographic information like the name, the practitioner, practitioner's name, date, name of the drug, the dosage, the frequency, the refill policy. Also, that there may need to be random drug testing. Also, that the controlled substance reporting system will be used. The patient also must acknowledge that the targeted drug cannot be prescribed by another provider while this particular agreement is in force. So the patient and provider have to also discuss the policy for the agreement and termination basically the termination of this particular agreement. So another reason why I am in support of this bill is because it basically says that acute care providers can only prescribe up to 5 days worth of opioids, which allows the patient enough time to contact their primary care provider. And this basically ensures that the patient receives some follow-up care rather than continuing to use the opioids without oversight by the provider. And thank you so much for viewing my video, and I hope you have a great night.